Can you talk about the adjustment fees that come with the closing? Because that's something that people will be surprised by, that will add added costs that they weren't expecting. Can you talk about some of the adjustment fees?
In terms of like taxes and things of that
Tax,
nature.
maybe there was something in the appraisal that they said that you had to add on, oil, things like that.
Well, that's a if when you purchasing, right? So when you purchasing a home, you get initial closing disclosure or CD. Now, depending on again where the property is located, like in New York, I'm just going to speak for New York as an example on this. So in New York, when you get a CD, that's not really the final number that you're going to bring to closing, right? At the closing table, there's always some sort of adjustments. Sometimes the seller will have paid taxes for the year. Let's say if they got an oil tank, sometimes they'll pay oil in full for a year. You got to reimburse them. At the closing, you always have to you got to pay for your attorney. If you're in an attorney state, that's not a part of the closing disclosures. The title rep, right? The notary, that person usually is custom and common to give them a tip. It can be anywhere from 200 to $400 to give them a tip because that's the person who's responsible for recording the deed with the county and everything like that. So you definitely want to tip them as well. So those are things that get adjusted at the table that you won't find out until really like the day of. But on a refinance, it's pretty cut and dry. The one thing I would tell you is be mindful, especially if you have your taxes and insurance escrowed, right? Because there's two different, and I'm glad you're talking about costs, right? There's costs and then there's escrow. These are two separate things. So your close, whether it's a refinance or a purchase, it will always include both of those numbers. And people get confused because they don't understand what's the cost and what's the actual escrow is. You know what I'm saying? The escrow is not a fee. That's to manage your taxes and insurance. And when you closing on a loan, if taxes are due within 60 days, the lender will require those taxes to be picked up and paid at closing. Plus, they'll set up an escrow account of 3 to 6 months to manage that property taxes and insurance as well. Now, depending on where you're located, like if you're in New York, Westchester, Long Island, if your tax is 10, 15,000, that could be a huge chunk of money at the closing table, extra, you know what I'm saying, that you will have to bring to the table. So just be mindful of your property taxes. Understand this stuff because it comes up all the time, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know I had to pay that." And it's like you have property taxes; it has to be paid. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's very important for people to understand closing costs and understand how to read their loan estimates and their closing disclosures, and know exactly what they're getting into. Because it's not just about the down payment. When you see online, people are always advertising or talking, you need 3% or 3.5 or as little as this money, but people don't talk about the closing costs and the breakdown of it. And that's what I cover, in detail in the blueprint.
Yeah, man. I got caught with that adjustment fee. I actually had a school tax
My
bill.
Instagram name is MG the Mortgage Guy.
I got a school tax bill that was sent to me, and I was like, oh, okay. I thought that was taken care of, but obviously it wasn't. So appreciate that breakdown.
Yeah, and hold on. I'm glad you said that. That's another good tip,
Okay.
right? For future homeowners and for current homeowners. Just because the bank is managing your taxes and insurance, do not ignore the mail that comes to you from the county or from the insurance company because taxes and insurance will always go up. And if you have that included into your mortgage payment, then every year your mortgage payment will go up too. Your principal and interest is fixed because you got a fixed rate, but that escrow is what's going to fluctuate. So it's very important you pay attention to those letters because if the escrow goes up, the bank doesn't care. They're going to pay that bill because taxes are first lien on your property. If your taxes are not paid, then the county can foreclose on you. So the bank is always going to pay those taxes. But what you have to do is make sure that the city or the county or wherever you live is not overcharging you. So you have to pay attention to this and try to grieve your taxes if you think they're overtaxing you. Even with your homeowner's insurance, the first year your homeowners or 2 years your homeowner insurance might be cheap, but then out of the blue it may skyrocket another $500 to $1,000. You're not married to that homeowner's insurance company, so if you see their price go up and you call them, if they don't renegotiate it, go find a new company. It's your choice on who you have homeowners insurance with, not the bank.
Okay, got it. Let's just so she actually responded. She said, "Thank you again for another super chat." She said, looking at purchasing the purchase of 31 properties by court-appointed receiver financing, can it be done without hard money? Question mark. cost per property or bulk? Question mark.
That's you're gonna have to get some sort of hard money blanket financing. That's all. If you're trying to buy 31 properties at one time and do a portfolio deal, that's not conventional financing at all. That's all private financing.
Hard money.
Hard money, asset base, blanket loans, things of that nature. That's the type of financing that she should try to seek to get that portfolio done.
Yeah, makes sense.
You need a lender who's going to specialize in, doing blankets, to be honest with you.
YouTube, if you can hit the like button, we greatly appreciate it. 1,300 on the check-in. We're going to go to a question.
To 1,300.
Because a couple people had asked, where can they get? So yeah, if you just joined us. So Matt, as I said, this is a follow-up from his episode, but it's also a follow-up from when he dropped his encyclopedia. I call it encyclopedia. He calls it a blueprint. But what it is it's I think it's like 110 videos. And it's a whole course of a home buying course. And as I told him, I'm like, this is crazy because I never got educated on buying a home. And I think I come from, an educated family, and I never got educated on buying a home. So it's crazy to have this much information. I told them too, like we put a YouTube video on YouTube once a day. So to put over 110 videos, it literally would take us 2 years to upload that much content.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's really almost impossible to put all that content like staggered. So to put it together, it's just a gem. And what he did was he dropped on the podcast. He did 50% for the first 500 people. That was last week. I spoke to him before we started to see where he was at. 78 slots left. So there's 78 slots left. After that, the price, obviously the 50% goes away. But I mean, I actually went through it myself, and I was just amazed by it. So yeah, if you're interested, I'm gonna put the link in here. It's in the description as well. But yeah, I think he said it was 78 slots. That's at the beginning of this video. 78 slots left for the 50% off discount. But I just personally have never seen anything like it before on the marketplace. So shout out to you, and shout out to your whole team for putting that together. Because like I said, I mean, if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things, if you look at a college textbook usually costs like $100, $80 just for one textbook.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you only use for one semester. So to have something that you can use for your entire life for a couple $100, it's unheard of. So,
but also think about a book, right? When new information comes out, they don't update the book. You know what I'm saying? It's old information. So with the Blueprint Volume 1, over the next year, as new information comes out, I'm going to be updating the Blueprint with these updates. So that way, folks.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yo, you switched it up on me, man. I was like, wait, he got a different polo on. It's a new video. I seen you updating already.
Huh?
I said, I seen you updating already. You switched the polo shirt on us.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple updates that went on there. I switched mad polos in there. Tukes hates the fact that I did that. Like, Tukes is a perfectionist, right? He like, yo, keep the same shirt on. I'm like, I'm tired of wearing the shirt.
Yeah, man. I'm like, yo, we
was filming some stuff today, man. I'm going to update it next week with a bunch of refinance stuff. Homeowners insurance, I'm going to update it with. And there's a couple new guidelines that happen. So I'm going to update that in November. So I'm just going to keep updating it a couple videos every single month. People who are actually taking the course right now, they're leaving comments left and right. I'm in there answering questions. I'm getting on the phone with people, helping them understand particular sections. So it's not like, look, this is just not like one-time course. You don't hear from me ever again. There's a time limit on the videos. No, it's none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you have it, you can watch it. It's self-paced. Watch it, or binge watch it for 12, 13 hours in a row, or take your time with it, because you don't never have to worry about any time constraints. And like I said, I'm going to keep updating it too as we go on in 2021, because I know next year there's going to be so many updates that's going to impact that first-time home buyer that they're going to need to know this information. So I felt like I'd be doing a disservice by not updating it with this new information.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.